Hey all, SMK Gaming here. Today we are going to talk about the suppressors in Battlefield 6 and why I believe they are a must-have attachment in all of your weapons. They work slightly different to past Battlefield games. Typically, when you think of a suppressor in a Battlefield game, that includes reducing your visibility in-game, whether that's via minimap spotting or 3D spotting, reducing projectile velocity and also reducing the damage done a weapon does. All that has mostly changed in Battlefield 6. I will be testing all of this out. Stick around to find out all of this info. Before we get into it, my channel certainly cannot be silenced at the minute. We are going great, but you can add to it if you currently are not a subscriber of the channel. Hit that subscribe button, join the SMK Gaming community, and let's continue this growth. It would be very much appreciated. Now on to the suppressors. There is 4 different types of suppressors in game. The standard suppressor, the long suppressor, the lightning suppressor, and the CQB suppressor, which is the close quarter combat suppressor. All 4 of these have slightly different descriptions, but what they all say is fully hides in-world spotting and reduces the range where a soldier is spotted on the minimap when firing. What is that fully hides in-world spotting? What that refers to is the 3D spotting. So you know when you're playing in-game and you see that little Dorito, as people would call it, pop up above a player's head. That is when you're being 3D spotted. You become much more visible to the other enemy players around you. If you do not use either of these 4 suppressors, or the flash hider, this will pop up above your head every single time, as well as mark you on the minimap as shown when you fire your weapon, up to a distance of around 75 meters. I have done 2 weapon builds so far, and on both of those I have included suppressor for this exact reason. Folks, you need to use a suppressor on your builds. What about the minimap spotting? Well, again, I was hoping for slight differences here between the suppressors, because as you can see, some of them cost slightly more than others, but there's no difference here. All 4 of the suppressors will hide you off the minimap past 15 meters. Within 15 meters, when you're firing, you will appear on the minimap. I am somewhat disappointed with that. I would have liked at least one of the suppressors to fully hide you for 3D spotting as well as minimap spotting. I would like to have seen one keep you off the minimap within 20 meters and then past that you're on the minimap. The CQB suppressor could easily have been that one. It clearly fulfills its role as being a close quarter combat suppressor by keeping you off the minimap in close quarters as well as 3D spotting, but then past that you are on the minimap. Then the other 2 can stay as they currently do. So what separates these 4, you ask? Why is there even 4 in the first place if they do the same thing? Well, what they've decided to do in this game is have the suppressors influence other factors regarding gunplay. And I'm not talking about change to bullet velocity or the damage the weapon does, as was the case in past games. Looking at the standard suppressor, it reduces hipfire accuracy. When we go across to the long suppressor, it reduces recoil at the cost of hipfire accuracy and weapon sway. The lightning suppressor reduces recoil at the cost of hipfire accuracy, and the CQB suppressor has no drawbacks, but that is why it costs the most. Be aware that all weapons do not have all 4 suppressors available to them. So does enabling a suppressor have any other further drawbacks like they did in past Battlefield games? I previously mentioned they reduced projectile velocity so you had to lead with your shot more, and they also reduced the damage model of the weapon so it wasn't as good at range compared to a suppressor not being there. Well, let's flick through them here. Do you see that second icon down in the bottom right hand side of the screen where the bullet is? That is the current bullet velocity stat for this weapon as it is currently set up. I have unequipped the current muzzle for it. That is the base stat at the minute. If the suppressor improves that stat, it will turn green and the stat will change. Similarly, if it decreases it, it will turn red compared to what I currently have equipped, and the number will decrease. So the current bullet velocity is 787 meters per second. Let's go to the standard suppressor first. There's absolutely no change. The only change you can see is to the hipfire, and that makes sense because it already said it reduces hipfire accuracy. Across the long suppressor, again, absolutely no change. Only change, once again, was to the hipfire stat, but with this one it also includes weapon sway. We don't have a stat for that. The lightning suppressor, once again, no change. The only change was to that hipfire. There is no stat to highlight that reduced recoil control with the lightning suppressor. The final one, again, absolutely no change compared to the base values of the gun. So what about the damage per bullet? In previous games, one of the drawbacks of using a suppressor to stay off the minimap was decreased bullet damage also. Let's head to the firing range and test out these 4 suppressors and see how they do. Well, to keep it nice and simple for you folks, there's no difference. Absolutely no change at any of the distances at the firing range between these suppressors. All 4 suppressors at 10 meters did 21 body shot damage, 18 at the 20 meters, 18 also at 35 meters, 17 at 50 and 17 at 75 meters. Now I want to have a discussion about this, and I'm eager to know your thoughts on it also around my suggestions with these suppressors. I would like them to be a bit more specialised for certain situations. They all should remove 3D spotting 100%, but I think they should change up how some of them work with the minimap spotting, and at least one of them fully remove you from the minimap at any and all distances. One removes you from the minimap in close quarters, whereas the rest can stay as they are. You cannot make these changes without drawbacks though, and I am actually willing to accept changes to bullet velocity and bullet damage to balance out my suggested changes. For example, the CQB suppressor removes you from minimap within 20 meters of firing your weapon, and this change is balanced out with minimap spotting past the 20 meters. It becomes a very specialised suppressor in close quarter combat in removing minimap spotting within 20 meters and improved hipfire accuracy. The long suppressor removes you from the minimap entirely, and it reduces the bullet velocity of the weapon and potentially the rate of fire too. Something along those lines anyway. I'd just like to see each type of suppressor do something a little bit different in terms of its minimap spotting. I believe having a suppressor that removes you in close quarter combat, a suppressor that removes you entirely from the minimap, and then a few that remove you from the minimap past 15 meters will help create variation in players' builds. If the developers feel the adjustment to the points for each suppressor needs to be made for this change, I have no problem with that. I would just like to see them more varied. So that's us approaching the end of the video here now folks. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Let me know your thoughts on how the things currently work in game, and then my suggestions on it. If you feel you've got a better way, let me know in the comment section below. Take care folks, and I'll catch you again in the next video.